Bonnie Quinn.
And I'm Janine Blake, and we're here outside the Kerr School in Aklavik. Today the school is celebrating the graduation of their first homegrown student, Kristen Gordon. We're also going to be speaking with Moira, the daughter of Kerr, and we'll be doing an interview with Velma Illasiak, the school's first homegrown principal.
Velma Illasiak is the principal of the Kerr School in Aklavik. She is the first principal at Kerr that is an Aboriginal person from the community. We talked to her about her family and her work.
My parents are Alec and Irene Illasiak, and I was born in Aklavik, raised the majority of my life within the Delta. I'm the eldest of our family. I have a very big extended family on both parts of my parents, and they've been main support to me throughout all my education.
Alice has it within herself. I hope that I showed her how it is done. I told her that it can be done.
Some key relatives that always pushed me to achieve my education and never to give up. And whatever I set my goals to, they were always behind me in that area and in that sense too. So sort of family is the strongest foundation to push you where you are as young people, and I think we all have that in us. We have family to guide us and support us. So yeah, my family's been there for me. I went to school throughout Inuvik, did some grade senior high in Yellowknife, and then graduated from Inuvik. Went into the field of social work for many years. An opportunity came up in Aklavik in the early 80s, and I took that opportunity. Little did I know it would take me so far. And then an opportunity through the school with the school counselor position opened up, and I applied for that. I was a school counselor for 5 years, and in the time frame of that school counselor, I was approached by Pauline Gordon to look at taking the teacher education program. At the time, there was a pilot project in the community, and somebody got wind that I wanted to go to Whitehorse to do a teacher ed program. So she gave me an opportunity, and I had very limited time. I had till 1 o'clock that morning to decide. So that was a really impulsive decision, but it was worthwhile. And from there, I've gone to Whitehorse and finished off my Bachelor of Ed, and then returned to the school. Got hired as a grade 4 teacher, and here I sit today as the principal. But mind you, that wasn't my first intention. I was looking at possibly a vice principal, and kind of looking at that for the next couple of years. So things really turned over too quickly, I think, or I feel it's quickly for myself. But yeah, and that's where I am today. I think being in the position for the first year and seeing all what it entails and all the responsibilities behind it, I came in very naive, and I've ended my first year with a lot of wisdom and knowledge from the key people I've worked with, other principals in their area that I've met, a good team of teachers, and good leadership from the Beaufort Delta. So, it's really, I think, kind of instilled in me that it was a good choice to make. When I reflect on where I started off initially in the community as a social worker, and then I looked at people are very hard to change, especially adults, because they're set in their ways. And I thought, well, your students or your children of the community are your opportunity to make a difference for them. So I decided to make a big career change and moving over to working with our youth. And when I reflect and see where some of the students are, they've come very far, and I think it was a wise decision, because they are the ones that are going to be our future. And if we can instill good skills with them, a lot of responsibility, guide them, we'll have a lot of good leaders coming out of our community if we just stay behind them. But they need role models for that too. Working along with your students, but more importantly trying to bridge the gap between parents and the school, because the investment in these children are their future. We're team players, and the school can't do it alone, not in isolation. They really do need the parents to be a part of that. And I think this year we worked really hard on trying to build that confidence with our parents, having more parent-teacher meetings, not, I guess, acting on crisis situations impulsively, but always taking a step back and saying, well, there's different ways of dealing with things, and the parent has to have a part in in dealing with situations. So I think that's a key part of the job this year, is partnering with parents and really trying to establish that, because they need it so much. They need the support, that the school is not a negative environment for them, but a positive one where they have a say too. So I think that's really vital. I'm very honored to be the first Aboriginal principal from our community. We've had other Aboriginal principals in our community from outside of Aklavik, and one person in particular is Sarah Jerome, and she's been a really strong role model for me. And I perceive so much from her strength and her wisdom as an educator, and I thought, you know, that's a good role model. And if she can attain that level, I'm sure somebody in this school can do that. And when I looked at the time that I've been in the school system since 1993, and I used to wonder, some of our teachers have the ability to move forward, but nobody took the opportunity. And I thought, well, you know, I think somebody needs to, and if Sarah can do it, so can I. And I kind of pushed myself that way. And it's through her encouragement, through encouragement from Pauline Gordon, other people in the community, that I just went forward and tried, and you know, I'm here. And I think it's a strong, strong message for our students and our community. I think the Department of Education, in the sense of the school, is the last kind of foreign territory where there is Aboriginal people that are really in a leadership role. Not too often you see too many people step up from the community to take on that role. And I hope I'm part of a new wave or a new change, and telling other Aboriginal people, really push yourself because you can.
Sarah Jerome is the Assistant Director of the Beaufort Delta Education Council. She traveled to Aklavik to make a presentation to Velma.
The presentation is because she's the first Aboriginal principal that's been hired from the community to work with the school. I arrived here in September of 1996 as the principal of the school, and Velma was the school community counselor at that time. So without her assistance, and also the assistance of the school secretary, Judy McLeod, I was very fortunate that those two people were in place, because they were sort of like the two people that mentored me and gave me all the guidance and advice that I needed in order to work here at the community level. And I really, really appreciated that. And I have an opportunity to say thank you to them, because without their help, I would not have been able to succeed that first year when I arrived here.
I would, oh my gosh, I'd invite them wholeheartedly, please get into it, because, you know, we always look back, and I reflect on the early 80s when the education department wanted to look at 50% Aboriginal teachers, and the numbers can go up and down, and we need the young people in our schools to focus on that, and not to be afraid to come out and say, I need to be a teacher, or I want to be a teacher, because they can. You know, it's hard work and determination. They'll do it.
We're back with our day at the Kerr School in Aklavik. We've spoken with the school's principal, Velma Illasiak, and now we'll be talking to Maura Kablalik, the daughter of the school's namesake, Kerr. Moira traveled to Aklavik today to make a presentation to the school on behalf of her father.
Actually, Kerr's number 4 daughter. I was born here in Aklavik, and as you probably know, the school is named the Kerr School. I believe that was communities asking, had lobbied the department for that. He was invited to come here for the graduation ceremony and to do a presentation, but he turned 80 in February, and he's really not very well. So I had a call, being the youngest, I guess, and being born here, if I would come. So I'm here basically to represent my dad.
My father came here to Aklavik with my mother and 3 older sisters in 1952, and I was born later here. He was the first principal of what was then known as the Federal Day School and stayed until 1964. During the first few years, classes were held in various different buildings until the government took over the old All Saints School and renamed it the Aklavik School. Because of the fact that the government was concentrating most of its resources in building Inuvik, he felt that Aklavik needed to develop a sense of its own community identity. And so the staff went about to create a song, the crest, and special awards. He also felt that the elders were being left out and tried to emphasize the importance of their skills and their value in order to bridge the generation gap. His vision was to have a true community school. After our family left Aklavik, the community lobbied the government to name the school after him, and thus the name, Moose Kerr School. On behalf of my father, I would like to present a gift he sends to the school. I think it's here somewhere. It'll take 2 of us. So if anybody's wondering, young people, who is he anyway? You have a picture. Thank you.
Kristen Gordon was the only grade 12 graduate at this ceremony. She is the first student to complete all grades from kindergarten to grade 12 at Moose Kerr School.
Kristen is an awesome person. I've known her since birth, and that's so different as an Aboriginal principal. You're very intimate with these children or students because a lot of them, you know them, their parents, their background, and I can even recall the date of her birth. And so we hold her in high regard today because she is our first grade 12 graduate in the last 4 years. So a lot of emphasis is put on her. She's a role model back to our senior high students because the numbers are dwindling. And next group of students coming up in grade 11, 12 next year, it's a pivotal thing for them because she does demonstrate and represent what they can become next year. And not just for the senior high, but the overall school. So we're just really, really proud of her. And today's celebration really is focused on her.
Tell us a little bit about the importance of having a student go through the whole school system and be able to do it in her home community.
I think that stands out so strong when you think back in the early 80s how they did grade extensions and our students didn't have to travel out of the community anymore. They could start in kindergarten and complete right to grade 12. And I think it's such a strong message to everybody that elders and parents that had that request so many years ago, it's a reality today through Kristen. And there's been others that have come before her, but they have not been from kindergarten all the way to grade 12. They've come into our system either as senior high students, but they haven't been in the system right from the kindergarten program to now. And there's another key student that's coming up next year, and she just idols Kristen because she will be another student that has entered our school in kindergarten, is going to graduate next year as a grade 12. So she's just really, this is a milestone for her. You know, so Kristen doesn't realize the impact behind her. I think she knows it's her big day, but she doesn't realize the value behind that statement as being our first graduate in so many years.
Any words of congratulations for Kristen on her achievements and encouragement for her future endeavors?
I think Kristen, you know, she's going to go far. She's got some really good goals for her, and we're so totally proud of her. I think she also knows that the commitment and support for her is not, it doesn't stop at Moose Kerr School. We represent the community too, and it's going to go beyond the school. It's her community and school together that really support her, and whatever her future goals are, will always be there for her.
As she mentioned in her speech, she had lots of backup and that, and that's what we did all the time, was encourage her to continue her education because of the changing of the in our society. You need education to get jobs and that. And I'm really proud of her that she achieved her goals. As graduating is one achievement, but I think she's got further to go in life with education.
Kristen was given many presentations for her achievements. Here she is receiving a plaque from her member of the Legislative Assembly, David Kruko, the MLA for the Mackenzie Delta.
Kristen Gordon, congratulations on your graduation, June 2001, and David Krutko, MLA, Mackenzie Delta, in the community of Aklavik.
When we return to SUAANGAN, we'll talk with Kristen Gordon about the work that she had to do to achieve her grade 12 diploma in her home community of Aklavik. We're back with our day at Moose Kerr School. We've spoken with the school principal, Velma Illasiak, Maura Kablalek, the daughter of the school's namesake, Moose Kerr, and we will be talking to Kristen Gordon, who will receive her grade 12 diploma.
My name is Kristen Gordon, and my parents are Richard and Diane. I'm born and raised in Aklavik, and I went to school here from kindergarten to grade 12, and I'm graduating today.
Tell us a little bit about some of the work that you had to do in order to graduate.
I had to do online courses. I did my English and sociology and psychology.
What were your favorite subjects?
I think psychology because it was really interesting.
And who were the teachers that helped you out with your online learning?
Mr. Potter and Ruth. They are.
Tell us a little bit about what it was like to be the only graduate today.
Feels good to be graduating and to be the only one. It's kind of nervous because everyone's looking at you and everything.
We'd just like to congratulate you on today, and we'd like to know what it is you'd like to do after graduation.
I'm not sure yet, but doors of opportunities are open.
Well, that's great. Congratulations, and thank you for talking to us today.
Thank you. That's it.
That's it. That's great. You did really well.
Thank you.
To my fellow graduates, listening to the speech, I believe that your next phase in your education will be a time of great learning because you have the opportunity to grow and learn in such a warm atmosphere full of support, understanding, and caring to help you meet your educational goals. Just as I reflect on myself and see the many people who support me and push me to work on my studies, so will you be seeing key people in the school system to guide and advise you through your grades. Never give up on yourself and always seek out advice and encouragement from those who are willing to go the extra mile with you, your teachers. Even as I prepare myself for the next educational goal, teachers are the key people who ultimately help to shape our worldview and give us the skills that we will need for pursuing any educational goal we set for ourselves. Let us always be respectful to their dedication and commitment to teaching students to be independent and responsible members of our community and society. We know that it is an educated student that makes better choices for tomorrow. In our region, we see many changes happening very quickly, and in order to take up these opportunities, we need to be educated now more than ever. I encourage my fellow graduates and senior high students in the audience to really put your best effort into gaining your grade 12 diploma because it will open many other doors of opportunity. We have to realize that education is a lifelong path that we all partake in. Some of us will go on to trade schools, college, or university. The key point is that we don't give up on ourselves so quickly. As you can see by my example, many people push me to where I am today, and it will be the same for you. In closing, once more, many thanks to the staff, family, and friends for making my graduation a reality for me. Thank you.
Our home is where the heart is. We spoke today with two women who were able to achieve their goals in their home community. Velma Illasiak was able to work her way through the system to become the first homegrown Aboriginal principal at the Moose Kerr School in Aklavik. Kristen Gordon is the first student who attended all grades from kindergarten to grade 12 and received her diploma from the Moose Kerr School. We would like to congratulate Velma Illasiak and Kristen Gordon on their achievements and wish them the best of success in their future endeavors.